What is going on? What's going on, everyone? Coach Derica here. Yep, I can hear myself. Hopefully, you guys are having an amazing Saturday. I am not going to be before you all very long. Today is one of those family days. Got to give time to the family. And I needed to come on here and really just continue to share the opportunity with you all. There's something on my screen. As I was sitting here today and I was reflecting, we're in the year 2021, and I was reflecting on 2020. And, as we all go into New Year's, we make a lot of promises, we make a lot of commitments. We say we're going to do this, we're not going to do that, we're going to leave that person alone, we're going to do all these different things. But a lot of us don't end up fulfilling what it is that we said we're going to do. And in 2020, for me and so many of my new business partners, we actually lived up to what we said was going to happen. But there was a lot of uncertainty as well too for me in 2020. I think back to 2020, it was around the beginning time of the pandemic, okay? And I had been living in my home. I had the same landlord for like the last 6, 7 years. Hey, Morgan. Um, it was like something. I knew that my children, because I have five, and I knew that my children were outgrowing the house that we were in. It was big enough when I moved in there, but they're grown now, basically. And I knew that something had to change. I knew that something was going to change. But at that point in time, I really couldn't think beyond my circumstances because I was working at a call center at home because I wanted to stay home with my children. And it wasn't making me enough money. And I was working all these hours on this call center and getting cussed out all the time because of people and their bills and things like that. And I was like, golly, I got some of the same problems you do, but there's nothing I can do. And I can't even help myself. I don't know how I can help you. But when I decided to take a second look at the common sense theory movement and really take it seriously and really take it seriously, I went to an event in February. And during that event, there was a lot of uncertainties for me because I had already gotten notification from my landlord that she was considering selling the house, but she would definitely let me know, if she made that decision. So that was in the back of my mind. Okay. Things hadn't really kicked off yet with the pandemic, but she had already just kind of dropped that nugget on me. And so that was in the back of my mind. It was also in the back of the mind, thinking about the bills, how I'm going to pay the bills and all these things. Just didn't have enough money. And I remember going to this event and hearing, our leader, my mentors, Denicia, talk about, she wanted us to make a commitment and a contract to ourselves and start affirming that every day. And I have this pinned up as a reminder of where I came from. And I'll never forget, it was February 15th, okay, 2020. And I made this commitment. I said, okay, I'm going to take this drink to shrink business more seriously. But if I could just make an extra $2,000 a month, that would really do me good. So if I could just make an extra $2,000 a month, I think I'll be doing something. And that was where my belief level was at that point in time, because I was like, I had been in other businesses before and it was a struggle to make $1,000 a month extra. And needless to say, I never seen that $2,000, and I laminated this. There it is right there. I never seen that $2,000 a month. I never seen that. I actually seen more than that, and then triple that, and then quadruple that. And so time goes on. Of course, this took a little time, and so as I'm sitting here, the pandemic hits. Okay, my state of North Carolina shuts down. All right. My landlord lets me know towards the end of February, hey, look, I have an inspector coming to look at the house. Whoa, wait a minute. I thought we was going to talk about this. You told me you would let me know before you made any decisions. Oh, well, things are just moving so fast. But don't worry, I'll keep you in the loop. Everything will be fine. Well, in my mind, I'm thinking this is not going to be fine. You already have an inspector coming to look at the place. That means you already pretty much have a potential buyer. It's in the middle of a pandemic. My credit is jacked up. Okay. I'm making pretty decent money with the common sense theory drink to shrink movement, but I'm very uncertain about what's going to happen with my life at this point. I'm a single parent. Okay. I know I got to keep a roof over my kid's head. All my bills are in arrears. So, whenever you move from one place to the next, you got to pay what you owe before you can transfer it over to another house. So I'm thinking about all this stuff. And so the inspector comes. I can't deny y'all, I was in my feelings. I was feeling some kind of way. And I really just wanted him to be honest with me and tell me, what's the plan? Let me know what's going on so I know what I got to do for me and my children. He was a little evasive, but then he asked me a couple of questions and he said, did you have an agreement that you would be able to stay here until the end of your lease? At the time, I was thinking, yeah, of course I have an agreement. But I didn't have an agreement because my landlord lives in Florida and she always just had me just transfer the lease over to the next year. So I didn't have anything written in stone that I would be able to dispute, right? It would just be on morals and judgment and empathy for my situation. Okay, bear with me. So okay, so about a couple more weeks pass. He does his inspection. At this time, something tells me start packing because I just have a feeling that I'm going to have to go. People's like, oh, it's not going to happen. You'll be fine. I'm like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but that inner voice inside of me is saying, Derica, you're going to have to move. So at that time, I started looking for places. Now, remind you, I already told you my credit was jacked up. Okay. I was making decent money with the drink to shrink movement. I was doing that more than I was doing the call center. Okay. And my biggest problem, this was my biggest problem. The biggest problem for me was my credit. I could not find a place, that would approve my credit score. It was an issue. So I'm applying for people. I'm getting denied based on my credit score. But on top of that, there's a lot of people, even private landlords, that wasn't wanting to show any properties because of the pandemic. They were terrified. So what am I supposed to do? She sends me some sort of text PDF letting me know that I had to vacate the property in 30 days. Mind you, by the time she decided to send it to me, I only had 28 days left. So you send me a 30-day notice to uproot my entire family where we've been living here for 7 years. You send me this notice and you don't even have the courtesy to send it to me in certified mail. You send it to me in a text and you send it to me under 30 days. But let me tell you how God works. So at that point, I have a toddler I watch Monday through Friday. She's been with me since she was a baby because I used to have an in-home daycare. And her mom was like, well, let me see, let me just see. Because I heard about a couple of properties, da 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 da. So anyway, she comes back with some different things. I said, I'm going to try some of these and just see how it works. Not all of them panned out, but there was one. And it was a property. And I always stayed away from properties, okay? Because I always preferred to have a private landlord. And I decided to go ahead and give it a shot. Now, the other property I had applied at, I had used my call center income because I didn't think that they would recognize my drink to shrink income. I used my call center income. They said that my credit would be fine, but I got denied because I didn't have enough income. This property I decided to apply at, I decided to use only my drink to shrink income. Only my drink to shrink income. And I was required to show that I made 3 times the monthly rent in 1 month. Okay. So I used my drink to shrink income. Okay. And I had to show that I could pay 3 times the monthly rent in 1 month. I far exceeded that. At this point in time, I was already hitting about 10 to 12,000 a month in drink to shrink. Okay. So I was doing quite well for myself and for my family. So needless to say, I got approved. I got approved. Got approved. We moved in here on April 17th of 2020. A bigger home, a better yard, fenced in, garage, all that. Love it. Okay. Now, granted, you know what I mean? My next home, I've made it, and you guys can screenshot this or record this or whatever. This will be, I just renewed my lease. This will be my last time renewing a lease for an apartment, not an apartment, for a housing community. The next time I sign my name on a line for some type of house, it's going to be my own. Okay. So that's my next goal. That's going to happen. It's already done. But for me, that was a blessing. Never before did I think that this type of a business, this type of an income would trump a paycheck. But this business actually trumped my paycheck. I got denied with my paycheck and got approved with this business. And now that I'm in this business, I have my own LLC. I have my brand on everything. Okay. I can actually say I have a stake in this. Okay. This isn't so and so. This is Drink to Shrink with Coach Derica. Okay. I have an LLC. This is my business. And the thing that I really love about this is that it's not a lover of personalities. You do not have to have a certain type of background. You can have no background and survive and thrive in this business. And that's what I love about it. And the thing about it that I can say is that even with all the money I had to shell out to move, catching up the bills, paying the deposit and the first month's rent. I bought all my children brand new beds because we wasn't bringing the old beds. Brought them brand new beds, delivered to the front door, got new furniture, all types of stuff. And I did it all with the Drink to Shrink movement. Isn't God good? And the thing that I think is really beautiful about it is that, as I just signed my new lease yesterday, because you can sign it early if you know you're going to stay. I signed my new lease yesterday and I was thinking, oh my God, in my entire rental history, this is the first time that I can say in an entire year that I have never paid my rent late. Rent is due on the 1st through the 5th of the month. And I can sit here and say, I have never paid my rent late. I lived in late fees. I lived in late payments and grace periods and extensions. That's how we survived. I lived in overdraft. That's how I lived. That's the only way I knew how to survive. So when I talk about robbing Peter to pay Paul, I really lived that life. I robbed Peter to pay Paul and had to rob Paul to pay Peter back. That's how I had to live as a single mom. And I always tried to provide my children with better and do better and keep them in decent neighborhoods, but it was a struggle. It was a struggle. But to be able to sit here now and know that I lay my head down at night knowing that my bills are paid, my rent is paid, the car note is paid, the utilities is paid. We have food in the cabinets and in the refrigerator and in the refrigerator out in the garage and the deep freezer out in the garage. We are good. We are good by the grace of God. And I have to, of course, give him credit. But if it wasn't for this movement, I would be still sitting here counting my coins on the call center, trying to give other people extensions for their bills, still living in overdraft, still calling the landlord trying to see if I can get an extension on the rent this month. Look, my landlord got so accustomed to me paying rent late that we ended up having a verbal agreement that as long as I had rent paid within that month, that she would be okay with that. Now that was a little bit of favor, I must admit, because other people would have been like, absolutely not, eviction. But it feels good to no longer be in that category. It feels good to no longer have to live in lack. And when God says that He knows the plans He has for you, He really truly means that. He doesn't mean for you to have to live in lack. He doesn't mean for you to have to live in poverty. He doesn't mean for you to have to beg and borrow and steal. Not when there's opportunities out here like this that can not only change your life, but also change your children's life, people you know's life. That's what this opportunity has done for me. For the first time, and I got to be careful because I don't want to get emotional, but for the first time in a long time, I was able to buy my mom a Christmas present. I haven't been able to do that for a long time. And for some people, that may not be a big deal, but for me, that's a big deal. Don't you hate it when you be trying to tell your testimony and you get emotional? But look, this movement is not just, oh, yeah, that's just something you're doing. This movement is a game changer. This movement is a life changer. This movement can change the outlook on your life. Aren't you tired of struggling? Like, for real. I'm not sitting here begging you. I'm sharing with you what God can do if you just say yes. That's all you got to do is just say yes. And because I made the decision, God, this job is keeping me just over broke. There has got to be another way. Surely I was not created just to pay bills barely and die. And that's what I felt like I was doing. I was a slave to it. That's not how we're supposed to live, you guys. That's not the way we were created to survive. That's not living. That's not living. So I ask you, what could an extra 3,000 minimum do for you a month? Like seriously, what could it do for you a month? Think about it. Get out some paper and redo your budget and add in $3,000 a month minimum. Because remember, most people make more than that. We just try to put it at the minimum. What could an extra $3,000 a month do for you? All that energy you're using to work that job that just over broke, making the boss man rich, guess what? You can use that same energy to make you rich. So what are you waiting for? That's all I want to know. What are you waiting for? Here's the opportunity. Here's the door. It's already knocking. It's already open. All you got to do is walk through it. That's it, you guys. It's really your decision. But if you decide that you want to go ahead and give this opportunity a try, go ahead and hit me up. Message me, comment on this live. If you're watching this on someone else's platform, don't message me, message them, okay? Because they're capable of getting you going as well too. All right? We follow the same system, we do the same trainings, and we believe in helping people win. We want to set you up for success. So get back with the person that showed you this video and let's get started today. Let's change the outlook on your year. It's not too late. Peace.